Good morning. Welcome back. You're watching Daybreak on this 3rd day of February 2026, and it's time for us to have that conversation with the panelists here in studio. I have Julius Meli, the chairperson of the Education Committee. He's also the Member of Parliament for Tinderet. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's been so long. I've not seen you for more than a year.
Yes.
How have you been?
I think I've been doing very well. And,
yes.
We've been so busy with the constituency and the Education Committee issues.
Right.
And right now I'm back, and I think we'll be here.
It's good to have you. Yes. Karibu sana. Dr. Makali Mulu, Member of Parliament for Kitui Central Constituency. Good morning.
Morning, Sam.
I have also not seen you this year.
Good to see you, and Happy New Year. I've not been here this year.
Happy New Year in February, but it's Karibu sana. Then Senator Hilary Sige is the Senator of Bomet and also the Chairperson of the Justice, Legal Affairs, Human Rights Committee in the Senate. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam, and thank you for having me.
Great.
My senior parliamentarians today.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
We were waiting for Senator Kongo Mogeni from Nyamira County. As soon as he joins us, he will be in the conversation. This morning, the papers, the Daily Nation, I told you, the headline there is how 1 trillion shilling embodied debt will hit you. The government projects to borrow 1 trillion shillings from local market, which is nearly the entire 1.1 trillion budget deficit for 2026-2027 financial year. This is bad news for the private sector, since businesses whose pool of financiers is shrinking fast will struggle over even more to secure credit, as most lenders, including commercial banks, opt to loan the government with an eye on guaranteed repayment and higher consistent returns. And I had told you that you'll see that chart of how different presidents who have managed this country since Daniel Moi have seen the public debt rising from 630 billion shillings at the end of President Moi's tenure to 1.8 trillion shillings at the end of Mwai Kibaki's tenure, then rose to 8.7 trillion shillings at the end of Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure. And now, in just over 3 years in office, President William Ruto is at 12 trillion shillings and counting. Should the deficit of 1.1 trillion shillings force the government to borrow locally or externally, then you can add that to the debt stock, and of course there will be some few repayments within the year. Then you'll find the bold dream that turned into a nightmare. This is about the competency-based education. We'll touch on it as shortly from now. And then on the Standard, it is the one-term plan, saying that there are fresh details that have emerged on how former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo is brokering a truce between ex-President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to forge a united opposition against President Ruto in 2027. Multiple sources say the plan took shape at a meeting in Nigeria attended by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, where the leaders agreed on the need for a single formidable challenger. Plans are now underway to make it happen. That's the Standard reporting. Senator Kongo Mogeni now joins us. Good morning, Senator.
Yes, good morning, Sam, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Karibu sana.
I'm told we can continue saying Happy New Year till we do the
Until I've met everyone.
We do the first quarter of the year. After March, you stop.
Okay, that's quite in order. Yeah. I want us to begin by, yesterday there were some developments. The Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury, John Badi, is proposing to exempt Kenyans earning 30,000 shillings and below from paye, that is pay as you earn. He says also there will be some changes to the tax bands for Kenyans that are earning up to 50,000 shillings. They'll only pay a maximum of 25%. At the moment, they pay a maximum of 30%. Let's listen to CS Mbadi yesterday.
Anyone who is earning 30,000 and below in Kenya should not pay as you earn. You pay zero between 30,000 and 50,000. So you only pay 25%. We reduce that by 5%. So those who are earning 50,000, first you will benefit because your first 30,000, you pay zero. Then the next 20,000, you pay 25%. We have agreed with His Excellency the President. He has directed me to take to Parliament a proposal. I'm not even waiting for finance bill to come in June. I am taking tax laws amendment bill to Parliament. Once Parliament resumes, we are preparing that bill. Take to them.
All right, we'll wait for that from the Cabinet Secretary. But Dr. Makale Mulu, I'll start with you. So the report by Stephen Leto shows that about 1.5 million Kenyans earn 30,000 shillings and below. There's that proposal to now push the cadre that doesn't end up paying to 30,000. How do you see that?
Sam, this is a very good move.
Yeah.
And the only unfortunate bit is it's coming too late. If you remember, in many of our shows,
yeah,
we did say that that should have been the way to go from the word go. And this is basically because we said what we needed in this economy to manage the economy well and make the economy grow was actually to increase the disposable income for salaried Kenyans. Mm-hmm. So what the minister has done is that now is allowing Kenyans to have more money in their pockets, and then the government can think of alternative ways of raising the revenue cap. Now, what will happen when that happens? What will happen is that now Kenyans will have money in their pockets, and now they will be able to demand more in terms of goods and services. Mm-hmm. So, because there will be increased demand for goods and services, industries or factories will be able now to produce more. And when they produce more, because people are buying, there's a chance that even we'll have more employment, because for you to produce more, you are likely to also increase your staff. And this circle, what will happen to this circle is that actually it will increase the levels of income in the country. Yeah. And don't be surprised, this small activity, which I think they should have done many years ago, is likely even to raise more revenue for the government. Because even though they will be paying less in terms of tax rate, you're likely to get more Kenyans getting more money, and some even paying tax in the other areas, like excise tax, like VAT, because they will be buying goods. But you know, we used to sing this song many years. I think we were singing to a government which was not ready to listen. I'm happy that now they are trying to apply it. I don't know whether this is deliberate, because the elections are next year. And I want to warn Kenyans that we need to be very watchful, because this might just be a deliberate move. They get the votes and then go back to their normal style of managing the economy, because they are used to that. And they don't listen to economic advice. I've said many times, this government does not listen. I want to say congratulations to my friend Mbandi from now an economic perspective, because this is what makes an economy grow. And this is what makes people be happy in an economy, because they have money and they can buy goods. Even the manufacturers will be happy, because they're likely now to manufacture more. Otherwise, it's a good move. Okay. Yes.
Good to hear from you. Now, Mheshimiwa Meli, your thoughts on this, because there's also, if you're to analyze deeper, currently any person earning 24,000 and below ends up paying zero, because the personal relief is 2,400 and you apply 10% of the 24,000. So in essence, what the government is affecting is the extra income between 24,000 1 shilling and 30,000. So that's about 6,000 shillings. Your thoughts about this development?
Thank you. I just want to comment and say that our CS did a commendable job. And we all know that the money that will remain out of this will actually allow the Kenyans, the hustlers actually, these are the low income earners, to really remain money in their pockets, and two, they'll be able to pay for goods and services across. I remember way back in the 1980s when Reagan came to power in the US, and one of his major policies that he brought forward was actual reduction on taxes to spur growth. When you reduce taxes and spur growth and give services and industries to grow, then the economy will even grow more, and the government will get more income in form of taxation in other sectors. So in effect, what Mbandi has done is very exemplary, and we as leaders, this is exactly what we want to do. And this echoes what the president says earlier on in his campaign pledge, that he wants the hustlers to remain with the money in their pocket. Right. And one of the things that he has done, maybe in agriculture, across all fields, this is actually the idea that we want as a government and as leaders.
Though he's saying it's taken too long.
Yes, it is not too long, but it has been done. So that's what I'm saying. It has been done, and that has been, the government has been trying to stabilize the issues of foreign debt, on how to meet on even the local needs. Yeah. Therefore, it is now time to do it. Yes.
Well, it has not been done. It's a proposal the Cabinet Secretary has made, says that they'll present something to Parliament for Parliament to pass. Senator Omogeni, what do you think?
Maybe I should begin from where you have stopped. You can see how contemptuous the executive can be to our National Assembly. He's not even saying it's a proposal. It's like it's a done deal. So what Parliament will be doing is just to tick the boxes and say this is what the executive wants, and we just go by it. I think first it should be a proposal that should go to the National Assembly for debate. They agree or they reject. But you know, I want to differ with my two colleagues. I will not be part of this choir praising Mbadi, that he has done a commendable job. What this country needs is a comprehensive review of how we are hitting the pay slip of Kenyans. You know, you cannot be giving with one hand and you're taking with the other hand. As we speak this morning, the new NSSF rates are going to take effect. And remember, this one will hit even the lowest earning Kenyan at 9,000 shillings. Okay? Those ones at the upper limit will be hit. I think for the first time, people will be paying up to 10,000 shillings to NSSF. And remember, that's contributory for the employee and the employer. And then I just want to remind Kenyans to retrace their steps and remember the conversations around NADCO. And also, my good friend Sige is here. You remember when we had the Gen Z demonstrations of June 25th? The National Assembly retreated. I think they closed shop and took off, but we remained behind to try and understand what was triggering these demonstrations. And we looked at the tax regime and we said, this UDA regime has come up with very punitive taxes, and we singled out the SHA, we singled out the housing levy, we singled out the taxes on fuel and the NSSF rates. And at that time, because everybody was feeling the heat, we actually made serious recommendations, including, and that is on Hansard, you can peruse through the report of the Senate debate then. We actually made even a proposal that we should go back to what the UDA administration had proposed on the housing levy. Remember, when the first bill was presented to the National Assembly, the housing levy was marketed as a saving that was voluntary, with a maximum of 5,400. But I think when the UDA administration tested the waters in Parliament and they realized that it could manipulate the members of National Assembly, that was changed and a new percentage of 1.5 was introduced without a limit. And I can tell you this morning, without any fear of contradiction, that if there is a tax that has hit the pockets of Kenyans painfully, it is the housing levy. So if our brothers in UDA have come to the realization that they are causing a lot of damage to the Kenyans' payslip, the best thing to do, Sam, is to relook at the entire taxation regime. I will plead with my brothers who sit in the National Assembly that when these proposals come, it should not be a directive that just reduce from Kenyans who are at the band of 30. Because if you talk to employers, there are so many Kenyans who are above 50, that band of 50,000 and above. But where the enterprises, the business people, are forced to pay that housing levy, and it's sitting deep into their costs, personnel emolument costs. And that's what is growing growth of our businesses. That's why you are seeing companies are closing shop in Kenya, migrating to Rwanda, to Uganda, because the tax regime there is more friendly. So, and then Kenyans beware. You know, this is coming just because we are now approaching the elections, because you're being told that this is focusing on the hustler. You get it? Because President Ruto has just realized that all the promises he made to hustlers were never fulfilled. In fact, he came in to cause more pain to the hustler nation than even to the dynasties of this world. So really, Debal, let us, Sam, This is the bald name. I don't know.
No, I'll put a name tag here.
Yeah. So let us revisit the entire taxation regime. I'm sure nobody in this panel will will be opposed to the idea that we are overtaxing Kenyans.
Sure.
And my friend has mentioned what a president did in the US and spurred growth. But remember, there is also one called Bush Senior, who came in with a very punitive taxation regime, and it made him a one-term president. So as the old administration looks at their tax regime, remember that over-taxation can make you a one-term president.
So we must be elaborate with our history review.
Yes.
All right. Now, Senator Sigei, if you have to look at this, and again, the past 3 years and how the payslip has changed, for someone earning 30,000 shillings, and what Mbadi's proposals will save them. So, like I said, up to 24,000 shillings, you end up paying zero. You extend that's 6,000 shillings, 15% of that is 900 shillings. So there will be a saving of 900 shillings coming after the proposal by John Mbadi. But at the same time, there has been two levies introduced. There is the affordable housing levy of 1.5%, which is 450 shillings for someone earning 30,000 shillings. And then there's SHIF of 2.75%, which is 825 shillings for someone earning 30,000 shillings. Put together, that is 1,275 shillings. So compare 1,275 shillings against 900 shillings, which is the saving we might make with the pronouncement of John Mbadi. How do you look at that? Because you've taken on this hand, now you're giving back.
Listening to my colleagues here, especially the economist, it is true that any proposal, whether in form of an amendment to the law, as Mbadi is proposing that he will do, that gets into a saving on the part of a Kenyan earning less than 30,000. And in this case, we are dealing with 1.5 million Kenyans. Could be more, could be less. It definitely a welcome move, to the extent that as we go down to the details of, we are saving 900 Kenya shillings. On the one hand, there is still a tax aspect of 1,275. Globally, there is a positive trajectory in supporting this Kenyan who is earning less than 30,000 if that proposal were to go through, because SHA, the housing levy, and those other taxes are also towards supporting a program that is not necessarily saving you the difference between 1,275 and 900, but remember, you are investing into another service, in this case, for example, the SHA aspect, which also helps you in the event that you need medical attention. And so, whether or not we are looking at it coming late in the day, to me, it is not coming late in the day. To me, I want to look at it in the context of how long will it take for this proposal to be taken to Parliament, and how Parliament will deal with it. I hope Parliament will deal with it in the fastest time possible, so that we avoid the temptation to say that it is a political move, which for me, I would say, from where we have come from, it is better that that is coming now, because it is going to be part of a fulfillment of the promises that this government of President William Ruto made to the support of Kenyans who are earning less. And as a matter of fact, Sam, you know, there's no development, no growth, no government can never progress without taxation. What changes we're looking forward to, and in terms of the proposal by the CS Mbadi, is to make sure that we give an opportunity to the Kenyans who are earning below this particular tax bracket to also have extra or additional funds in their pocket for purposes of them to feel that indeed a promise made in terms of a government that listens to the people below a certain tax salary bracket are protected. And it's not all lost. To the extent that my colleague, Senator Okongo Mogeni, says all the promises made, I'm sure he's just making a general statement, because right now we are looking at so much of the promises which have previously been, not made even without sometimes commitments from the previous regimes, this government has attempted to do it. Yesterday we were in Nyanza with the Nyota program. The other day we were here talking about 22,000 Kenya shillings given to a youth who is not employed should not and should never be seen as small amount of money. It goes into something. And so much more. This SHARP program, this housing program, the changes in the education sector. Remember, these have previously been discussed from the Kibaki regime. I remember I was still young then. The housing program was one of the things that we were debating.
Though, Senator, realistically, how soon would Mbadi's proposals take effect?
By the way, Sam, because Parliament is going back on the 10th. Next week, yes, we're going back next week. If that proposal comes to Parliament, unlike the very pessimistic approach that our colleagues would take, that it is an executive proposal, parliamentarians are independent people. If that thing goes in, remember all of them, 290 members of Parliament from their respective constituencies represent Kenyans. This is a proposal that every other member of Parliament will look at it in terms of, I am going to be protecting a good number of my constituents, and I look at it being one of those bills or proposals that will be fast-tracked.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Because the planning by the government, it looks at what are the priorities, what are the expenditures, the sources of revenue. Obviously, whatever CS Mbadi is proposing will have an effect on revenue, whether it's a shortfall on pay and whatever else the projections would be. I would imagine that the planning, the government may want it to stick to the annual planning.
Actually, he has said...
Is it possible to implement this now or wait until the start of the next financial year?
He has actually said that he will not wait for the normal financial bill. He will immediately submit the proposal to Parliament. And I'm definitely looking forward to a fast tracking of this particular proposal because we want Kenyans to benefit out of it. And so it definitely will be fast tracked so that we get it without necessarily waiting for the financial year
Dr.
and
Makali,
the normal progress.
That's fine, Dr. Makali. It can be passed, but effective date, what's logical?
No, what will happen like another bill? You know, what he's going to do is going to bring a tax amendments bill, which will now be amending their current finance bill, but focusing more on income tax. Now, just like another bill, it has to come first reading. It will be forwarded to the Committee on Financial Planning for debate, for public participation. Then it will come to the House for second reading, and then it will go to the third reading. So it could take a month or two, but depending on how it will be pushed, because, you know, as he says, there's an element of fast tracking, and you know, when Parliament talks about fast tracking, you know what it means. And with the kind of house we have, that can even be a week. But really, what I wanted to say is, and to me, that's why I was getting a bit worried. And while I agree with Mogeni, I was saying this move to just address the income tax is a good move. If we are discussing the tax regime, I have my own reservations. I think that's an area we can debate. But the question is, Sam, we'll be discussing the finance bill in June this year. Because we'll have a new finance bill. So the question is, today is February, and June is about 4 months.
Yes.
Why the rush? Why can't we just do it the normal way we do our budgets, come with another finance bill, which will even factor in what you're asking? Because as a result of this move, there will be a tax gap. Since you are not amending the other levies, and that's why I didn't comment about the other levies. I have my own issues with the housing levy. I have my own issues with the 2.75 share levy. But this particular one, the revenue gap as a result of this move, it means somebody must sit and think, where do I get that money? The only two options, either you borrow, or then you go to your budget, and through supplementary budget, you reduce expenditure. so that you're able
which
to...
Which has been very difficult the past
Which has been very difficult,
true.
more so the recurrent expenditure.
Yeah.
Because the recurrent expenditure in this government is actually our main problem. We spend so much money.
Yeah.
So it will just go through the normal process.
Yeah.
But if I were banned, I would have possibly waited. 4 months is not long. I would have waited so that we do a comprehensive review of our tax regime. In that case, then you factor in this.
Just to be sure, because the economist here, the exemption of tax for persons earning 30,000 and below will also affect you as a member of parliament. So your first 30,000 shillings...
Yeah, will not be taxed.
Okay, so then
if you earn 50,
yes,
30 will be exempted.
Yes.
20 will be then taxed on the 25% rate.
Sure.
Anything above 50, then it goes to the normal rate.
Yeah. So let's focus on the 30,000 bracket, because if we are to assume that we have 3 million formally employed workers, they're slightly more, but let's work with the figure of 3 million. And we said you will be saving 900 shillings. So in a month, 900 times 3 million gets you to 2.7 billion shillings.
Yes.
In a year, that comes to 32.4 billion shillings. So there's a tax gap of 32.4 billion shillings that is expected at the minimum.
That is for those earning up to 30.
Yes.
But you know there's going to be readjustment for other bands.
Exactly. So of course...
So it could be higher than that.
It
will definitely be higher than that.
I don't know if, Mheshimiwa Meli, you have any thoughts about that. How then does Parliament and the government rationalize the current budget if this is to take effect as soon as possible?
Yes, I think one is that it might come through reduction in terms of budget through supplementary. And I think that there are certain things that the government has even budgeted and they are actually not so much of urgent need.
Yep.
Two, we have also other, when the economy grows and we have, and I want to weigh in some on this issue of housing levy.
Yep.
As much as my colleague, Senator says, SHA is a tax and NSSF is a saving all through. At the end of when a worker or anyone wants his money, he will get it.
Right.
When you look at SHIF is a payment for services that will be rendered, if in effect that is in terms of medical and others. But let's come back to how housing levy or the housing project has really transformed this country. One, in terms of the earnings. Two, in terms of materials, industrial development, in terms of cement, steel, and many others. What accrues out of all this is actually very enormous. Two, will you look at the gap that will be left by this tax relief, especially on paye? The government, and I think body, has actually, every other time when you look on how you are relieving or reducing a taxation on one side, definitely the government has to make sure that its expenditure is supposed to be reduced. And this one we are going to see in the tax plan and even in the finance bill, which is going to come. Thank you.
All right, I want us to take a short break here on Daybreak. When we come back, we also talk about the concerns that are in the education sector. Yesterday, we had a story on Citizen TV showing the challenges that institutions are having because they don't have the textbooks. There was a promise that the distribution would be complete by the end of January. January was last month. We're back in a moment.